it's not a very pleasant time, but it's good to have people back here, and we appreciate your patience stuff while you were away. Couple of things before we get started. I know there's been some concerns and comments about this meeting tonight and why it was so soon. I will take responsibility for that. That was my decision. I kind of didn't think it through because I know all the people aren't here back from out of town yet, but they will be. And I've been assured that there will be follow-up meetings coming after the others get back. So, and I know there's going to be lots of questions, but as you get up and ask questions, I would appreciate if you would give us your name and which community you're from, and you can ask a question and one follow-up, and then let somebody else have their turn. You can get up again later, but let's give as many people a chance to speak and as we can. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Marlo Pritchard, who is the head of SPSA for Saskatchewan. Marlo?
Excuse me, can we give a round of applause for our volunteer firefighters?
Absolutely. That's very much deserved for them.
I'll echo that. The heroism that was shown by volunteer firefighters and other departments from across this province, not only in this community, Tenere Beach, but many other communities, is second to none. We worked with them, beside them, but it was an all hands on deck, and it was absolutely amazing to watch the heroism and the sacrifice that everyone did to
Turn up the mic, Bruce, sorry.
Turn the mic on.
It's on.
Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry, I just didn't have the mic up close enough. So basically what I was saying is, absolutely the volunteer fire departments from Tenere, Creighton, and many of the communities from across Saskatchewan left and their homes to come and fight the wildfires and protect as many pieces of property, lives that they could, and they are absolutely heroes, and they should be acknowledged, exactly what you just said. So my name is Marlo Pritchard. I'm president of the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency, and first and foremost, I don't understand what you're going through. I never have had that issue that happened to me or anybody I know, but I can feel for you, and I'm going to do my best to explain what went well or what didn't go well, and how we're going to make it right, and how we're going to support you moving forward. So I will just let everybody here introduce themselves, and then I'll quickly answer some of the questions that are in front of me, and then we'll open up for questions.
Hi, good evening. My name is Brian Chartrand. I'm the Executive Director of Land Operations with the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency.
Say it again.
My name is Brian Chartrand with the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency, and I'm the Land Ops Executive Director.
My name is Lyle Prokopets. And good luck spelling that.
Yeah.
I'm the Emergency Services Officer for the Northern Response Area for SPSA.
Thank you, Lyle. Good evening, everybody. Great to be here with you tonight. My name is Devin Exner, so I will be the wildfire recovery team lead. So as we continue to start to regrow, rebuild, I will be leading that team for the province.
Hi, I'm Noel McDonough. I'm the Executive Director for our Provincial Disaster Assistance Program.
Hi everyone, I'm Aaron Phelps. I'm a Program Officer with the Provincial Disaster Assistance Program.
Hi everyone, I'm Jody Rhodes. I'm part of Marlo's support team. Thanks.
Okay, first, and I'll just go over some of these questions that are in front of us. First of all, I acknowledge that the system that we had built to support the quick turnaround for checks did not get out as quickly as they should have or could have. But I can tell you that absolutely everyone that was entitled to money will be getting it. There are a team that is coming out to Creighton. They're on the road right now. They will be in this community for the rest of this week, starting tomorrow. There will be more checks coming into the community next week. So we will get those checks out. Both the $500 check that Premier Mo announced last week, as well as the food security checks that will be going back to the date that you guys evacuated, or those that are in the room that evacuated. So I'm just going to quickly go over a couple of the questions. Most of them are the ones in front of me are to do with the money, and like I said, those checks are coming out. They will start to be distributed tomorrow, right through till Friday, and then we'll be moving some more into next week. I'm just going to go quickly through these questions. Another question is in regards to disaster zone cleanup. We are going to be meeting in Denair Beach tomorrow. Both Devin and myself and leaders, we're going to identify what that looks like. We will be taking that back with the project management team, working with environment, and moving that as quickly as we physically can to work with the community, help with that cleanup, and move into the next phase of recovery and resilience and rebuilding. So I don't have a timeline. We've got to get an understanding of what is required. I can tell you that it does take some time. When we look at other communities that have had this in West Canada, some of them would take a long time. That's not our goal. Our goal is to turn it around as quickly as possible so that you can get back into your communities as fast, as safely as possible. So there are going to be a number of steps. It's not going to be a 24-hour, 48-hour, or even a 2-week process, but we will definitely assist the community and whatever we can do to help expedite that cleanup. There was a question why we could not e-transfer the dollars. We did not have that ability at this point in time. It was not, we did not have, I guess it's dual or double authentication processes built into it, but it's one of those ones, can we do that in the future? And I don't know if we can, but it's one of those ones that we have to look at for expediting the process. Another question that came up here is the $15 million that was donated to Red Cross. It says, why is that not being directed to every single Sask evacuees? I can tell you right now that that program is being developed and it is designed for evacuees. So wherever that came from, that is not the case. It is designed to support evacuees and a number of other initiatives. And we will be announcing some of that specifics, or the Red Cross will be announcing that very soon. Another question was in regards to the per diem or the food security, what the value was. Head of household was announced $40 per head and $20 per other members of the household, to a maximum of $200. That was announced again by the Premier, and that again will be calculated to the date that you left the community.
Is that per day?
That's per day.
Did you say up to $200? Could you repeat that?
Maximum is $200, so it's $40 for the head of the household, $20 for every other person that lives in that household, to a maximum of $200.
So who gets? Per day? Per day, like who gets, where's the maximum, like, okay, that's $60 a day, so where's the up to 200?
No, up to $200 a day. Sorry, up to $200 a day. So if you left for 10 days, depending on your size of your household, it could be $1,000. Could be, so it's up to $200 per day. Right.
And
Sorry.
who said that? Because we asked and we didn't get nothing.
Sorry.
We did not get nothing.
Well, that's what I said. The checks are coming here. So I mean, if you will get.
Where?
What's that? To the town of Creighton. They'll be here tomorrow.
To where? We don't have a post office.
No, we will handle it. We've got people actually coming here to handle it.
I live 8 miles out
Well,
the
then
road.
we'll figure out how to get that to you.
So
We'll
mine
talk
goes
to
to Laurent,
No?
that's where I pay my taxes,
Oh, we'll get your name and we'll make sure that you get your check, okay?
thank you.
What about the 3 weeks nobody had nothing? You should be
Yeah,
ashamed.
we don't
Seriously.
want it, sorry.
And why weren't you ready?
Don't
for
get
this? How
yelling.
about that?
Sorry?
Why weren't you ready?
What's that? What we did?
Why
Oh, I
weren't
heard
you
you.
ready?
Why weren't we ready?
Yeah.
We were ready for a lot of things, but we were overwhelmed.
Why?
So you knew May 16th there was a fire here. Why was there 4 bombers sitting on the tarmac? Unmaintained.
No, the
They're
bombers,
not?
no, the bombers, we utilized.
Call us a question and answer. We don't wanna hear about
No.
what you got on there.
No.
We wanna ask questions.
And that's what we're answering.
There were
No,
no
you're
bombers
not.
sitting
No,
on
I said that there
unmaintained?
was bombers in the maintenance cycle.
Okay.
And again, yep, there was.
How long? How long were they on maintenance for?
The ones on the structure, they would have been for months, weeks.
6 months.
So why were they here?
6 months.
But we also utilized our compacts, which are partnerships across Canada, across the United States. And we brought in 2 bombers to replace those from Quebec. We brought in 2 from
When did you
Alaska.
send help here?
When?
You don't know?
I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry.
You
Why?
should. You
Why
should have.
don't you have it
You
in
should
front
have.
of
I'm
you?
gonna give it to Lyle.
Okay, I'll make an explanation. Please, let's show some respect and not interrupt.
Why?
Can we do that?
We don't wanna hear your questions. We wanna ask you questions.
I'll answer your question, but you gotta give me an opportunity.
Hey, here, talk!
Let her talk.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna try not to cry. I just wanna say that there's a lot of questions for us to ask and have answered, and they need to be done in a respectful way. I will hold on to that, and Jake, I will make sure those are all answered, girl. I've got a lot of information. I've been on the phone with Jordan McPhail all day today. I'm going to ask them in the right way, I promise you. Just let them say what they're gonna say. I know there's so many of us in here that are hurt. We were hungry, scared. It was bad, okay? Totally broke. Totally broke. I've been on with so many of my clients
Jennifer,
trying to help them.
they
But
would've-
I know
My
Jake,
house would
I
have
know Jake.
burnt if I hadn't come home
I
early.
know who was helping your house, Jake. I was on the phone with them to make sure they did that, and I messaged you when I did. We have all been trying, and so we just have to hear what's going on without screaming and yelling at each other, or we're not gonna get through this, and there's some real questions that need to be answered tonight, and we need to get the answers, and we won't do that if we're all just arguing. So if we can just let these guys say what they're gonna say, then they're gonna give us the opportunity to come up here and ask our questions and say what we need to say, and then we're gonna have a lot more answers than if we just continue to shout.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just want to say a lot of people lost their homes. I know people are frustrated, but there are people here that want answers. And the only way we're gonna get that is in a respectful meeting.
I
And if you
don't
can't
challenge
do
you,
that,
but I wanna hear their questions.
please leave.
I don't want to hear what they have to say.
Jake, everyone, you gotta respect everyone else. You still have your home.
I do, and I'm grateful for it because you came and helped, and Clayton came and helped. You guys didn't.
Yes, but we can't have outbursts in the meeting. We all want answers.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, I knew that was coming. PROKOPETZ. PETZ.
Jackie, just so you know, these questions were sent in by email from residents that couldn't be here.
I understand. I don't care. We're good, let's move on, let's move on.
Okay, so first off, I was in Denner Beach helping with the base up until about May 30th, and then I timed out and was gone, unfortunately, when this incident occurred. However, I've looked at the notes and I've talked to people who were involved with it. The Wolf Fire was started by lightning. It wasn't man caused. It got almost about 5-10 hectares the very first night. The fuels are very dry. The relative humidity was around 32%. That's bad enough during the day. When that happens at night, that just leads to explosive conditions. Next day, the crew went out. They got caught in entrapment. It took the helicopter to bucket to get them out. There was literally flames on the side of the machine when they evacuated. The tanker
What date was that, sorry?
At the same time, we had the Point Fire going up in Pelican Narrows, and another fire called the Pelican 2, which was immediately on the doorstep of the community of Pelican Narrows. So it got prioritized. We did send resources over there. We still have resources on the Wolf Fire. The air tankers, when they got the call from the crew in the helicopter, did divert over to the Wolf Fire. At that time, the winds kicked into about 80 kilometers an hour. The skimmers were on site over that fire when it approached the community. There was just nothing they could do about it. The fire was going too hot, too fast. If those skimmers have even tried to drop anything on that fire, it would just evaporated. They're not super tankers. They're water bombers. And you know what, when you get extremely hot temperatures, what water does? It evaporates. Those tankers couldn't do anything. The best thing that they could have done was realize that they had to get out of there. And that's what they did.
Why wasn't there any sprinklers set up? At least try something.
It was a time factor.
You guys had time. You guys took your eye off the fire.
May 16th to June 2nd is a long time.
You had time, you took your eye off that fire.
Yep. And yeah, and I agree with you, and that fire did get large. It was actually going from north, or from south to north towards the Granite Fire. But again, a couple of days later, when that wind switched, that's when we ran into the trouble. Okay, Lorraine.
I want to know why, you know, the lack of inexperience there, why that happened. Those right from the top, the FPO, to the supervisor, to the base support, to crew leaders, to crew members, they were overwhelmed.
You had the opportunity to hire experience and you guys chose not to.
And we needed people with experience.
Yeah, I
in
can
this
only hear one.
situation.
My hearing's not the greatest, so I can only hear one person.
And that fire, we knew it's going into that budworm there, and that's explosive within seconds. And I called it, I told Addison, you know, and where was that experience, guys? Where?
You guys decided not to hire the experience.
Let's let him answer that question. I want to hear the answer to that question.
This is my area, I know this area.
Well, I understand, Lorraine, and you and I go back a long ways.
Okay, not
You-
only that.
I'm answering her question, okay? Just let me get to it. We go back a long ways, and yeah, you're one of the most experienced person on that base right now.
Where was
And
the
it's
added experience?
unfortunate, but the hiring practices, we can't pick
I know we
senior
can't,
people because they simply aren't applying.
But
She applied. He had something against her, Mr. Chartrand, that I dealt with her stress.
Well, I understand, and I've talked to her about it as well.
where is the experience though? Like, you knew Addison and Tyler were overwhelmed and out of class. Where was the help then? You sent Lyle, great, but we needed more. Right?
In this,
Agree?
in this entire province, you can say there was no other experience that you could have sent in?
When you consider what else was going on in the province,
I know the shoe fire was big.
the shoe fire was big.
We're
I was
still
asked to
here
go
too.
to Daenerys, and that's what I did for as long as I could. But the conditions out there, nobody has seen this, ever.
I know it's
3
dry.
weeks prior to all of this happening, I was sent down south, and I saw the exact same thing in Poplar. Poplar never burns, and I was driving up to fires where there were black plumes. I swear it was spruce.
I know our
And it was
drug
Poplar.
code is low and
But-
everything is extreme right now,
Yeah.
but we need experienced people to lead this. It's
And-
gonna
and-
happen
and-
again.
I totally agree with you, but it just, the personnel that are applying for these jobs aren't senior people.
We're just filling bodies at this point though.
We're filling it with the ones that applied.
And like that, are you not paying enough?
There's lots of factors. We're
What are the factors?
not the employer of choice anymore where we used to be. Mines pay a lot of money. Trust me, I've been asked. I just about went. You're looking at a seasonal job. A lot of people can get full-time jobs. It's the nature of the business.
Can I ask the next question? Or
Go ahead.
are we done?
Oh, I'm sorry. That gentleman back there put his arm up first.
Yeah, well, I'd like to know, like, for the morning meetings prior to hitting the mayor, we go into the meeting and the SPSA officer would ask us what our feelings. There wasn't even a concern about the wolf fire. And then 2 retirees come back onto the boots on the ground.
Too
He does
late.
one flyover and he comes to the hall and says, forget about putting our resources from the air to help at Creighton. He says that wolf fire is gonna be on your doorstep in 2 days. We had 2 days to prepare with the little supplies we had in town because there was no provincial equipment left at the fire cache.
Because
And we
there
were
was
on
people
Facebook trying to get help
inexperienced.
from agricultural sprinklers and stuff, but like, how do you guys look yourselves in the mirror when your people that have been put in charge of that have to have retirees that are watching from the sidelines join the game again? And then assess it and tell us the danger of it's presenting to our community. We'd have been caught with our pants around our ankles had Merv not have come back with that flyover results and laid it to us straight.
Would have been deaths.
All we could do was build a fire guard north of the town. We couldn't affect what coming across the lake on the islands. But, like, I don't know, you guys let us down.
Should have been a sprinkler system set up.
I only have one question. Why? I came home early. I live out the Hans Lake Road, 106. I came home early because I'm not part of Creighton. I'm L'Orange. So I got to come home early. I came home Thursday, Friday. The fire started across the highway. I called 911. I called the RCMP. Nobody helped till I put it on Facebook. Then people came. Only our friends.
What is your question from that? Do you wanna know why?
I want to know why. Why? Nobody was watching our house. You put sprinklers running and we couldn't get them going. I watched on my cameras when I was out of town. They put the sprinklers up. They did everything. They ran them.
Question back here.
Then they let them go out. And nobody checked again. My neighbor.
That was your question.
No.
Because everybody in the city
Okay.
Can you answer the fire department member's question, please, about the retirees coming back?
Why didn't you watch our place? You put sprinklers. You put sprinklers and never looked again.
Okay,
One at a time.
I'm gonna answer the other gentleman's question first in turn. And I'm sorry, I really didn't get part of it. Retirees have been hired, brought back. And they've been a great help, especially somebody that, the individuals we have here, the local knowledge and the fire experience they have has been huge. And I'll agree with Lorraine, they are young firefighters and they do need experience. They're getting it now, unfortunately, and it's an expensive lesson. But
We're talking about the
those
supervisors.
retirees are working out very, very well for us. I'm gonna apologize right off the bat, I was not there when this all happened. I had a window 2 days, and that's unfortunately when I was not around. I'm just trying to go on.
Replacement then?
Okay, I'm sorry, the one at the back? I can see your hand, I can't see you. There you are. Go ahead.
She's recording, she's just recording.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Here, Lyle. June here.
Yeah.
My question is to you were there and if you're having trouble hiring people.
You're giving them the question?
Experience. Those are the things I was wondering. Why didn't you call in federal help?
Sorry, Jim, can you ask that question again?
Speak up a little bit. He said that, I understood him to say that, they have trouble hiring or retaining staff. They're inexperienced and you were not there during a critical time period, maybe, whatever. why did you not call in federal help?
Actually, I want to add to her question because it was gonna be mine, and I think I had my hand up next, and I want to actually
Okay,
specifically
good,
ask.
no, add to it because.
We can't hear you.
The microphone, we can't hear. Basically, we're asking why they didn't ask for federal help if they didn't have enough firefighters and they were inexperienced and all of the things that he said went wrong. So we're saying, why didn't you call in help?
I have a little bit of order to my questions, and they're gonna cover a bunch of yours.
No.
So, knowing that the fire was moving closer to Denair, what value protection equipment was set up in Denair and where?
Okay, I'm gonna have to plead my ignorance on that one because I don't know.
This is an important question.
No, this way, because the day that I had left, that fire was not a threat to Denair Beach or the Foran mine, which we were looking after as well, or even the portage by the 106 highway. That fire was just creeping along the day I left, so I don't know. There were values protection units put on cabins along the
What does
Hanson Lake.
value protection mean?
I'm gonna back this up one step, because I don't know how many of you are in this room who are in this situation for the first time, but I am. So the group that is sitting in front of us is the SPSA, and they are in pursuit of our mission. Sorry, wrong one first. They are functioning as Saskatchewan's provincial public safety organization. The agency collaborates with municipalities and First Nations to bolster the resilience and capacity of local communities